Basing upon magnetic behavior, here coming to next properties, next type of properties, magnetic properties. Basing upon the magnetic behavior, substances are classified into 5 types. Okay. Next, magnetic properties of solids. Okay. So, basing on magnetic behavior, solid substances are classified into 5 types. Okay. First one is paramagnetic substances, diamagnetic substances, ferromagnetic substances, antiferromagnetic substances, and ferrimagnetic substances. So all these are the 5 types. Okay, 5 types of the solid substances, and I will explain one by one. Okay, so first one is paramagnetic substances. So paramagnetic substances. So substances which are weakly attracted by magnetic field, they are called paramagnetic substances. So this type of substances contains 1 or 2 unpaired electrons. So due to the presence of unpaired electrons, they exhibit magnetic property, which is a temporary magnetic property. Okay, why? Because all these substances, they are weakly attracted by the magnetic field. Okay, so paramagnetic substances are substances which are weakly attracted by magnetic field are called paramagnetic substances. And this paramagnetism, this is temporary magnetic property. Okay, so this is temporary magnetic property. Okay, so temporary means if a substance is under the influence of magnetic field, then only it exhibit magnetism. When it is removed from the magnetic field, it loses its magnetic property. So that's why this is temporary magnetic property. Okay, then coming to some examples. Sodium atom, titanium oxide, vanadium oxides VO2, VO, and potassium superoxide KO2. Okay, and titanium oxide TaO, Ta2O3, etc. So all these are paramagnetic substances which are weakly attracted by magnetic field and which is temporary magnetic property. Next, diamagnetic substances. So diamagnetic substances are repelled by the magnetic field. Okay, they not gets attracted by the magnetic field. Why? Because they does not contain any unpaired electrons. So to exhibit magnetic property, 1 or more unpaired electrons are must. Okay, so in case of diamagnetic substances, there are no unpaired electrons. So all the electrons gets paired up in the substances. So that's why they does not exhibit any magnetism and they gets repelled by magnetic field. So that's why diamagnetic substances are substances which are repelled by magnetic field. They are called diamagnetic substances. So substances which are repelled by magnetic field are called diamagnetic substances. Okay? So no magnetism is exhibited by this type of substances. Okay? For example, sodium chloride and Na plus ion, magnesium, Mg2 plus ion. Okay? Next to ZrO2, zirconium oxide. Okay? So all these are diamagnetic substances. Okay? Next coming to ferromagnetic substances. So ferromagnetic substances, they shows large magnetic moment. Why? Because ferromagnetism is a permanent magnetism. When the substances are under the influence of magnetic field, the substances are strongly attracted by magnetic field. Even when the substances are removed out from the magnetic field, then only they exhibit the magnetic property. So that's why ferromagnetism, that is a permanent magnetic property. Okay, so ferromagnetic substances. Substances which are strongly attracted by magnetic field are called ferromagnetic substances. So ferromagnetism, this is permanent magnetism. Okay. So this is permanent magnetic property. Okay. So permanent magnetic property, they shows magnetism under the influence of magnetic field and also in the absence of magnetic field. So they shows large magnetic momentum. Shows large magnetic momentum. So example for ferromagnetic substances: iron, cobalt, nickel. So these metals, they shows ferromagnetic property. Iron shows maximum ferromagnetic property, and also CrO2 and some video tapes. This shows the ferromagnetism. Next, anti-ferromagnetic substances. So anti-ferromagnetic substances, they shows zero magnetic momentum. Okay, so resultant magnetic momentum becomes zero due to arrangement of unpaired electrons in such a way the net magnetic momentum, that is equal to zero. Okay, so unpaired electrons align themselves in such a way the resultant magnetic momentum is zero. Okay, so substances in which unpaired electrons are arranged in such a way the resultant magnetic momentum is equal to 0. Okay? Resultant magnetic momentum is equal to 0. So, this type of magnetic momentum generally they exhibit. Okay? So, example for antiferromagnetic substances. So, manganese oxides MnO, MnO2, NiO, Fe2O3. So, all these are antiferromagnetic substances.